Just a minute, ma'am.
For introduction.
Is the slides visible, ma'am?
No, but we need to ask all the participants as well whether they are able to view the screen or not.
Ma'am, it will be visible, ma'am. It will be visible, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So with your kind permission, can I start now?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. You can start, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So very good afternoon to one and all the participants. I think considering you all had your lunch and healthy lunch today, because this topic is somewhat, it is a starter, we can say, in the profile of when we are working in the higher education institute. I don't know whether you all agree to me or not, but I consider, because it's very, very essential step, considering that today I will focus on the quality teaching in higher education and the mentoring a student. It's very, very important. You already has gone through the NEP 2020 requirement, and the topic which today we are supposed to discuss is very, very relevant to achieve the objective which is framed in NEP 2020 regarding the quality teaching in higher education institute. So before starting with this, I just want to ask, like, how many teachers or the professor, they are ready to be a mentor also and mentee also? Because everyone in the journey of a teaching and learning process, we are mentor as well as a mentee. But something which is expected from us as a teacher in the higher education system, you need to mentor your students. That is a requirement, that is a current requirement. And I'm sure that this mentoring system is basically started from our history. That is a rooted in your Indian values, ethics, and the social upbringing of Indian people and their mindset. So starting with that, what exactly the mentorship? Can you go to the first slide? Yeah. So topic is very, very important. Mentoring student in higher education. Now, the question is that why there is a need of mentoring a student in higher education institute. If we consider we are teaching to PG student, and considering that the social requirement for the career development or overall development or holistic development, this journey starts from their KG, very primary level. But now, though after we are getting the very grown up and mature student in higher education, still the requirement of a higher education is mentoring the students. We need to identify what are the challenges, what are the need. Then on the basis of that, we need to formalize the certain policy. We have certain customized thing which is already set up and they will given by the UGC, that is University Grant Commission. And parallelly, we need to design certain policy at our individual organization level and individual level, how to implement that. Okay, can you do the next slide, please? Next slide, please. So this is very simple and logical process. What is exactly meant by mentorship? It is a one program, we can say, and which is very, very essential in the higher education center or sector. So it is a combination of identifying the requirement of both the party. Here, both party means mentor and a mentee. So mentoring is essentially a formalized relationship that supports and encourages a professional learning. So here, higher education institute in Indian government sector or any private sector come up with certain professional courses where it is needed to mentor your students. Now, in mentoring, sound and a trusting relationship will rely upon the degree of understanding and the responsibility shared by mentoring partners. So here, mentoring partner, both mentee and mentor. The establishment of the relationship is very crucial, and we need to determine the level and the quality of a dialogue. Because as I already said that we are dealing with the PG, not a KG. So here, a requirement on the basis of that, we need to change your implementation phase or implementation policy. So it is a very dynamic process, and the developmental network of a mentoring can help mentees identify several mentors, can address variety of career related needs. Very in a simple language, the Oxford School of Coaching and Mentoring, Eric Powell, he defined that mentoring is a support and encourage a student or a people to manage their own learning, and in order that they may maximize their potential, develop their skill, improve their performance, and become the person they want to be. Now, when we are talking on this is a mentoring process, we need to identify why there is a need of mentorship in higher education institute. So when I went through the certain analysis, and when I'm dealing with my student, I came to know that this is one particular inning in their life or journey in a life where they are first time few students, they are away from their hometown, they are away from their parents, they are after their UG, they are very focused about their career. So here, this is a turning mode in their career towards the career, and it is very crucial and very sensitive issue. How to balance in that turning mode, because that lead this particular decision making turning mode, their future is depend on this particular 2 or 3 years higher education degree. So it is very important. We need to identify once they are away from their parents. So during maybe few students, they are feeling very homesick. Maybe in that they are not able to concentrate on their study. They are not able to concentrate in the classroom. They are not able to justify with their what is the responsibility as a student in higher education. So we need to identify somewhere something is missing, and just give them a proper track to achieve their object, career-oriented object. We have a mentorship program which is introduced in the higher education institute. We need to show them that after 2 or 3 years, this is your objective professionally. So that is again a role and the responsibility of mentors in the mentorship program. Parallelly, we also need to identify the expected outcome of mentorship program. This is just in a one word or a sentence, I can say we are looking for a holistic development of all the mentee who are involved in that particular mentorship program. So considering that, it is very important. We are categorized into 4 broad category. That is, we are looking for academic success. So here, that is a duty of every individual faculty to give them a academic input, or where maybe we need to analyze the slow learner, fast learner, or their weak point, and according to that, we need to feed them. Adjustment in the campus, because they are new to their new world, because they're coming to the higher education institute where what they have experienced till their UG, maybe somewhere they'll feel like few people, they are not able to adjust with the campus or the infrastructure, or maybe something, the requirement of a higher education system. So we need to give them background so that every individual who are into the higher education system as a mentee, they will feel comfortable in that learning process. Career awareness, we need to give them various options. These are the career, though they are selecting a certain professional degree, parallel to that, in that particular specialization or in area, what are the career options available in the labor market in current Indian scenario or parallelly in other countries. So it is very essential for them, because many times, many students who belong to certain rural area, or maybe they don't have that infrastructure, IT infrastructure, so they can't Google it, or they are away from, they are staying at the hill area. They don't have that particular facility to find out what are, they have the competency, but they don't know the opportunities for their talent. So we need to identify such type of a candidate, and we need to provide them all the details for the career awareness. Apart from this, which is basically an individual important thing, that it's a self. So higher education institute, this is one of the most important aspects and the expected outcome through the higher education, that's already initiated, that this is a turning point in their life toward the career. So self-confidence, it is very, very essential for them. And for that, not only the classroom teaching is important, parallel to that, can we, through this mentorship program, can we focus on various multi-method approach so that we can give them a platform where they can show their talent, they can identify their skills, their abilities. So this is very, very important, that we need to create that opportunity to meet the partner with the stakeholders or a cultural boundaries. So we have to, these are various expected outcomes. On the basis of that, we frame the objectives of a mentorship. So you can just go through the to identify and achieve career development, support building academic leaders who have knowledge, skills, ability, foster career reaching, equip faculty members with tools which is necessary to enhance their capability with their current roles. So here, parallelly, according to the requirement of a mentor, even there is a development for a mentor as well. Create opportunity to meet a partner with a stakeholder or a culture boundary. Create a culture that sees mentorship as an effective way of developing a proficient individuals. So because when we are getting these students in higher education institute, for us, they are a raw material. Somewhere where we try to develop them.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Next slide, please.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Next slide.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking at times, ma'am. Can you just check the network connectivity, ma'am? Because your voice is breaking at times, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt,
Network
ma'am.
is full. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Network is full.
Okay, but your voice is breaking at times. And can you just change the location and see to it, ma'am?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I'll move on to the next slide, ma'am.
Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am. At times it is breaking, ma'am. That's it, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am. If there is anything,
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In this pictorial where we are framing the objectives of a membership, that we need to motivate motivation. We need to advise the mentee success direction. We need to direction according to their career and to achieve that particular objective in their life. Coaching, support, goal, and training. Now, we are not restricting ourselves only as a professional level. as can you put the hello, ma'am. Supporting the mentoring relationship. So we need to identify, we have already identified the need, objectives, challenges in the mentoring. Now, what exactly the supporting the mentoring relationship? Mentoring has a long recovery to the respective mentee. So regardless of how a mentor and mentee, the relationship between the mentor and mentee, if there is a dispute or there is an argument, so both the party, they will not achieve their target through the mentorship program. So the leadership within an institution must recognize and identify the need for mentoring and then plan, develop, support, and promote a program that directly address specific workforce gaps. So it is very, very important that when we are starting with the, like when students are taking admission, we need to identify the pattern of a student. Means like initially I stated on, like you need to identify the slow learner. We need to identify student on the basis of their hobbies, their future plan. And on the basis of that, we need to
Excuse me, ma'am.
identify our mentee, or sorry, mentors who are available in your education institute. And according to that, we need to match. Yes. Is there any problem?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Again, your voice is breaking, ma'am. And that's why. Excuse me,
Voice
ma'am.
is breaking. What to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Voice is breaking. Yeah. Please be saying same thing. Let me check the other place.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, so are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can anyone give me a response?
Yes, ma'am. We are
Anyone?
able to hear you, ma'am. Ma'am, we are able to hear you, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am, and we are able to hear you, ma'am. Karna Jadhav, ma'am, you're audible and we are able to hear you, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you please let me know? Am I audible now?
Ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am,
Kindly
you're
any
audible, ma'am.
participant or the organizer just convey whether I'm able to. Are you getting my voice clearly?
Ma'am, now we are able to hear you clearly, ma'am. You can just continue,
Can
ma'am.
we continue?
Yes, ma'am, you can just continue, ma'am.
Okay. So supporting the mentoring relationship. So you need that ecosystem which is developed in your organization where you are teaching as any assistant or entry level, or you are experienced faculty in that higher education institute. But you need to develop that ecosystem so that you can successfully run that mentorship program. That is essential, and now it is needed for every organization. The leadership within an institution must first recognize and identify the need for mentoring. So here the management or a top management in that particular education institute, they need to identify, they need to recognize the need. Nowadays, NEP 2020 have made it compulsory to run the mentorship program. I'm very fortunate that in 2006, long back, I think near about more than 1 decade before, I initiated this mentorship program in my institute. I had corporate expo for 5 years, and then I shifted from corporate to academic. But what I got in my student or MBA, I just wanted to give to my student, and that's why, with the help of my director, he was supported me in that particular time when I was very young and very junior to consider with the regarding a faculty. So that time also UGC, they had not made it compulsory for higher education institute, but I don't know, my director even has very visionary, and he has said yes, that is a needed mentoring is very, very essential, and you can just go through the your NEP 2020. It is compulsory now. You need to frame certain policy how you can successfully implement the mentorship program. So in that regards, your higher authority need to identify, recognize, then you need to plan, you need to develop, you need to support. And that's why I said in a one sentence, you need to build that ecosystem where you can run that mentorship program very, very successful. Next slide, please. So these are the stages. Basically, when we are calling it is a process, it is in continuation form. Okay, and that's why the prepare is a first step where you are developing a certain plan which is on a paper, and then you are initiating that, actually developing with the mentor and mentee, finding the who are actually a mentor and who are actually a mentee. It's supposed to be right combination. Matching supposed to be very, very systematic way. That's why I had given certain clue. You identify the slow learner, fast learner. You need to identify their hobbies. There's maybe the decision in the specialization in the higher education. So according to that, we already have the specification of your faculty and their particular profile in your institute. So you can match you can plan this mentorship program in that way. Whenever you are finding the who will be mentee of who and who are a mentor, so that right combination supposed to be initiated if you want to make this mentorship program successfully. Cultivate means once this combination we have already framed, like a mentor and mentee. One person can mentor the group of a mentee, whereas mentee again have a liberty to select his or her mentor. So we need to provide that particular flexibility that sometime when informally they need to select their mentor, as well as somewhere for an academic point of view, or maybe that is a need of organization. By default, we have this particular system where we are giving them some mentor. So a combination, it is very, very important. And there are two processes. One is liberty to both the people to select their mentor and mentee, then evaluate. So on the basis of every mentor, they need to prepare a plan individually for individual mentee, to how to evaluate the performance and the outcome, which we initiated that expected outcome. So we need to track that record. Like the person, the mentee also, they have certain objective in their life. And during this mentorship program, maybe for 2 years or 3 years, 10 years, both the party need to evaluate whether they have achieved what they want to achieve during this mentorship program. Next slide, please. Support is to be ensured broadly in the sense of time allocation. It is very, very important that they need a sufficient time for a mentoring activities and time for professional learning activities apart from academic activity. Because though we have in the higher HEIs that co-curricular activity, extracurricular activity, extension activity, there's supposed to be certain scope to implement the mentorship program and mentoring activity. So it may be we can plan a timetable for that. A well-considered teaching load and class allocation, which takes into account the beginning teacher's experience and needs. Sometimes the mentor, they are occupied with the workload and they are not able to concentrate on the performance and the just to cross-verify the feedback and the expected outcome of their mentee. So in that particular case, it will be very difficult for both the party, mentee and mentor, to run the mentorship program successfully. So whenever any higher education they want to implement this mentorship program, they need to give a sufficient time or certain in their regular timetable of academic calendar to frame maybe 1 hour or weekly time or daily time. Some time supposed to be allocated for the mentoring activity. Very, very essential. A well-considered teaching, the position of induction and the mentor coordination as a leadership position in the higher education. Normally, every education institute, especially higher education institute, like we have induction and orientation in the company or any organization. So similarly, when the people, they enroll themselves in a higher education, so we are having an induction program. So in that induction program also, we can initiate with this mentoring activity. We can just introduce what is the expectation from this mentorship program, how we will supposed to run this mentorship program. We need to give the idea to the students about the objective and the expected outcome of mentorship program. The willingness from both the parties is very, very needed to run this program, mentorship program in the higher education institute. So regular and timetable mentoring meetings on a weekly or fortnightly basis, the mentor and the novice teacher working in the close physical proximity to one another. The mentor and beginning teacher teaching the same year or a subject level. So these are the certain support we need to successfully run this mentorship program. Active support from higher education institute, leadership for both the beginning teacher and the mentor. So it is very, very important that whenever you want to implement this mentorship program in your institute, there's supposed to be support from every respective people who are indirectly and directly associated with this organization, because somewhere we are taking a feedback from parent as well as, okay, so they are also stakeholder and we are somewhere paying back to their in this way, like taking a feedback from the parents as well. Next slide, please. Now, what exactly or who is exactly a mentee and a mentor? Mentee is someone who is identified a specific personal and professional goal and who believes that the guidance and help of a mentor and being held accountable to the mentor can help them achieve their goal. Or anyone who wants to learn and seek valuable advice from someone who knows in order to grow professionally and or personally. As such, the mentee needs to actively participate, retain critical faculties, seek new capacities, seek overall development other than domain area, remain open to multiple influences and own responsibility for success. For empowering the teachers in the broad spectrum of areas and developing their holistic personalities, two-phase mentoring strategies, especially for teachers who are new entrant in their higher education system, have to be planned. Now, it is very, very important that we are looking for, through this mentorship program, we need to plan one program for both student as well as teacher, because it is, if you are planning this mentorship program for a new teachers, it will be the retaining them in very successful way. Whereas for a student, that is the objective of your higher education institute. So for both, you can plan the mentorship program. Next slide, please. Now, who is a mentor? I think in the beginning, your parents are your mentor. By default, they are who support you at every aspect of your life. But mentor in a very professional manner is a teacher or an advisor who leads through the guidance. A mentor is an individual with expertise, can help develop the career of a mentee. The mentor guides, train, advise, promote the career development of a mentee. The mentor is anyone who offers knowledge, insight, perspective, or wisdom that helps other people professionally and also goes beyond duty or obligation. So, mentor, he is a person or a pattern, what we can say, a small designation in the higher education institute who are always ready to, without a time as a constraint, without a role and responsibility as a constraint. He are always there whenever the mentee need a help. He is always standing to help that particular to the mentee. Now there are two types of mentoring function. One is a career related and second is a psychological related. It is very, very important, and these both aspects are very, very essential in the higher education institute. Next slide, please. Now, personality characteristics of a mentor. We have come across like two important aspects of a mentorship program. One is mentor should give the mentorship on the two level. One is a career oriented. By default, that is needed in the mentorship program. But apart from that, because sky is the limit, mentor need to identify the psychological requirement of that mentee, and according to that, he may learn that skill to how to help my mentee for the psychological development. It is very, very important because we know that being a human, we have a mood swing, we have a different attitude, we have a different behavior, we have a different caliber. So on the basis of all these varieties of what we can the skill and the competency of a mentee, that mentor need to build his personality in a such a way that he can guide his mentee at every aspect which is needed for to develop the towards the overall development of his or her mentee. So there are specific characteristics related to the personality of a mentor. Requires a knowledge. We can consider the professional knowledge and the domain knowledge. Role model, a confident enough willingness to nurture, because sometimes that person is not able to give a time to a mentee. So there is a meaningless if he are taking that particular function as a mentor. Volunteer to participate, empathetic, flexible, and the collaborative, continuous learner. Because I already when I initiated in the last two slides, like mentorship program is something that the mentor is also learning and developing his skills and the competency during this mentorship program. So when the teacher also, they are at the early stage, when they are new, they also need a mentorship program. Good interpersonal skill, that is your individual skill where you are good enough in that particular, and you need to identify what are the interpersonal skill. Diplomat, non-competitive, and committed to the role and the responsibility as a mentor. So these are the personality characteristics of a mentor. So if any of the faculty would like to be a good mentor and you want to help your mentee, it will be important for you to identify yourself, your personality characteristics, and if not, you need to develop those characteristics of personality in yourself. Next slide, please. Now, these are the mentoring function, like we have categorized into two career functions. Help the mentee, they learn the ropes and they prepare for career advancement. Now, this is at entry stage when student, they are taking admission in their professional degree. So they are very focused, and we to now blessed with the generation that they are very, very smart. There is a generation gap, I think, or 1 decade, 2 decade, like within a experience and the professors and the assistant professor. But current generation, they are because of this IT infrastructure, they are having that information, knowledge, and whatnot. So we can't share the false, or we can't give them a false promises, or we can't give them a wrong information. So just to help them, to coach them, to guide them, we need to sufficient, or we need to have that particular information with us. So we need to learn first to help the mentee. Coaching, challenging assignments, exposure and visibility, protection. So these are the career related functions are related with the mentoring function. Next slide, please. Second is a psychological basis, that is a role modeling, acceptance and confirmation, counseling, and a friendship. So help the mentee develop a sense of competency and the clarity of identity. This is very, very essential nowadays, because the career related, that I said that this generation is very, very selective, choosy, and they are competent enough to identify what they want in the future. From childhood also, they are very focused. Ki, I just want to become engineer, doctor, IT, whatnot. They are means even parents, they can't pressurize them for their career to select their career. The issue of this particular generation is they are weaker in the psychological area, whereas stress management, their behavior, their attitude, their coordination, their cooperation, and these all factors, for this only one solution is there in current generation, because they are occupied whole time 24 into 7. They are mostly communicated through the IT infrastructure. They are lagging the actual connection within the parents, teacher, actual connection, that is one to one direct. So it is very, very important that somewhere they are damaging their mental health. And this is very, very dangerous situation which the current generation they are facing when they are joining the organization. They are not able to balance the work life. They are not able to concentrate. They are somewhere work life balance, it is totally imbalance. They are not able to focus on their work. They are totally disturbed. They want to achieve everything, but they are not giving up priorities. They are very, very materialistic oriented. They are many big competition there. So parallelly, there are a behavioral aspect like a comparison. They are not satisfied with their job. They are not satisfied with the what they are getting at their workplace. So somewhere we need to give them training program ki how to mentally prepare for all those for future challenges. So this is essential in a mentoring function, though considering that maybe some organization, they are not taking it seriously, or maybe they feel ki this is a personal level, why to focus on this personal requirement. But parallel to career option, somewhere it is a duty of a mentor to look upon the requirement of, because this is essential for their career development. Next slide, please. The qualities of a mentor, it is very, very important. Willingness to serve as a source of information, both in the mentee's field and within the institution, as an advisor who provide multiple perspective with the guidance and on better options, as an advocate, confident, and a friend, as a sounding board, as a person who opens door and the facilitate connection, and as a sponsor and promoter to others in the community. Now, to be very specific, mentor provides a constructive feedback by reviewing their mentee's draft proposal and papers. Now, somewhere, whatever they're planning, means maybe we need to ask our student, like whatever they want to achieve, can you plan it? Can you draft it? Because when there are a in your mind, day to day, we are planning for our future. But unless and until we are not drafting it, that's why I used to ask my mentee to maintain the learning diary. So it is very essential, because somewhere we are talking to the best friend that I consider as a diary, where you can free fill to write into a diary what you want to achieve. And then when you're writing it, somewhere that makes you alert that this you want to achieve this with the help of a mentee. Mentor can also provide constructive feedback on instructional activities both inside and outside of the classroom. Perspectives and the sponsorship in impactful, beneficial services is also encouraged. Now, it is very, very important. Classroom, actually, what happened? We are giving all the theoretical aspect to the respective students and the mentee, whereas outside the classroom, they become so. The dialogue between the mentor and mentee, it is a very, what we can say, very in a free environment, and what we can say, they are confident. They are feeling so confident to communicate with their mentor. Whereas in the classroom, because in a crowd, they feel hesitate how to raise question, how to ask, how to inquire. So somewhere, if you want to break this traditional pattern, we are giving them platform, like just taking your mentee at just at a coffee shop, or maybe at a very in maybe in an open forum, and we are providing the platform so that they can open up and come with their problem and issues. While it is not required, it is valuable and encouraged to involve their mentee as a co-author in proposals or a facilitate contract with others as appropriate. A mentor may also involve the mentee as a collaborator leading to a co-authorship or a journal research paper, book, article. These are a certain example where mentor can help the mentee for the various activities. So with the example like how the mentee can help, sorry, mentor can help to a mentee. Next slide, please. Demonstrate success in professional activity essential for tenure and the promotion of faculty, including having secured and sustained substantial external research funding, publish extensively in a peer review. So we can help them. There are lots of benefit the government they have assigned for the student as a researcher. So we need to identify various facility. Not only the your particular institute or university, they are offering all this benefit to the student. Parallelly, UGC, different non-government agency, they are offering the various financial support to the mentee or to the students. So we need to identify all this, and we need to help the student, and we need to make them aware that there are what are the benefits for you. Mature professional and research career standing and readiness to nurture younger colleagues. Ability to desire to work with other with unselfish, caring, genuine interest in the welfare of the faculty, department, and the larger research community at universities. So mentor values credibility, integrity, confidence, cooperation, and citizenship, communication skill, professional activity, credit, and intolerance of a harassment. So if you feel that there is a harassment on the basis of any background, like maybe suppose it is a formal relationship, like the institute is giving the mentor and mentee, maybe there is a possibility that mentor can harass their own mentee on the basis of caste, creed, religion, gender, maybe economic standards, so different ways. So if you don't you want to, like, for any organization, so these are the certain negative aspect of the mentorship program. So you need to already inform the both the party. If such practices is observed, there's supposed to be certain protocol, or maybe certain provision, punishment, or certain what we can say the steps to be taken by the higher authority if such practices is observed during the implementation of mentorship program in your premises, in your higher education institute. Next slide, please. So desirable qualities of a mentee: assertive knowledge, confident, competent, approachable, honest, empathic, a good listener, experienced, trustworthy, patience, accessible, creative, kind, consistent, fair, non-judgmental, respected by their peers. These are a few. Apart from that, if we list out the qualities, desirable qualities of mentor, the list is endless. So there are we can more than 50 or like this. All the personal skill related qualities one mentor must have if they want to become a good mentor. Next slide, please. Now, expectations from a mentor. Now, when any higher education institute, they want to implement a mentorship program, there are expectations from mentor as well as expectation from mentee. So we will first discuss on what are the expectations from a mentor. Awareness of the mentee teacher's context of a learning. So they must to aware about what are the context of learning, understanding of a teaching practicum requirement, and the teacher learning aspects. So they need to understand first contextual knowledge of a mentee teaches online learning of models, because there is many higher education, they have started with the hybrid mode, where they are not because of the in higher education system, UGC and the NEP also now they are coming with the multi-method approach of a learning and teaching, where they are giving a permission whenever we are implementing this NEP 2020 from this year. It is suggested that we need to use the approach of multidisciplinary, whereas We can offer them the hybrid mode learning and teaching facility. So in that sense, we need to make ourselves sure that there is a mentee teachers online learning of modules. So we need to implement in our institute pedagogy of adult learning and of mentoring and a knowledge of the teaching profession, understanding of a higher education system and teachers effectiveness performance criteria. So if you want to make yourself competent enough about the role, responsibility, duties, norms, protocol, policies of higher education institute, it is available. There is a more than 200 pages. One circular is available on a UGC website. You can download it and you can just come to know that what exactly your requirement when you are a part of higher education institute as a professor, teacher, guide, philosopher, or more important that you are acting as a mentor. Collection and interpretation of evidence of learning, analysis and the reflection on evidence of learning, use of effective observation skills and strategy. Why it is needed? Because nowadays, if you want to discuss on any issue, you can just Google it and you will get a bucket of information. But out of that, what is relevant to you for that particular dialogue, you need to select in a proper way. So it is very, very important for you to use certain strategy and prioritize your requirement. Demonstration of a professional leadership and understanding of the potentiality of effective teaching, counseling and guidance skills, suiting the needs and the requirement of the mentee. So just for this particular skill, essential characteristics as a mentor is you must be good listener first, because whenever mentee will come or he or she will approach to you, we need to first listen her or him carefully, and then counseling and the guidance can be a next step. Role model in various dimensions of academic. So maybe there are a different requirement being the academic. You can be expert in the research. You can be expert just to deliver your session. You can be meticulous enough in maintaining your file. So there are certain requirement of our academic, and that can be maybe record keeping, maybe presentation skill. So you must be use all the dimension and try to have that expertise. Then only you can be a role model in various dimension of academic. Next slide, please. Qualification and experience of a mentor. So I personally feel as such in a general sense, there is a no as such the qualification and experience required as a mentor, because I earlier said that your parents are your best mentor. Your friend, sometimes he is of the same age, but he can be again as a informal way a mentor for you. Your brothers and your sisters, many family members, relatives, your neighbors, they can also play a role as a member. But apart from this, what is the requirement of a higher education institute? We are here. There is a specific qualification and experience of a mentor is required. He or she must have contributed to at least one of the areas like research and development, curriculum development, instructional material development, counseling, member of national or international policy level committees, engage in motivational talk, direct subject teaching. Mentors should be physically and mentally fit to the satisfaction of a mentee. So it is very, very important for any mentor.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Hello. Am I audible
No, we were not able to hear you, ma'am. That's why.
now?
Yes, ma'am. Now we are audible.
Okay. So we are talking on like why there is a requirement of that mentor should be physically and mentally fit to satisfaction of a mentee. Sometime the mentee is in a stressful, and in that particular situation he's contacting his mentor. If in that particular situation, if the mentor is not mentally fit, he will not able to guide the mentee. So it is very, very important that the both type of a fitness is required to be a good mentor. Next slide, please. Role of a mentors: offer advice that helps the mentee develop. The role is not to make decision for the mentee, because we are providing them alternative. Ultimately, the mentee has to select and opt according to his prioritize. We are giving them and we are making them aware about the various options available. Trained to be efficient, guidance and advice for one mentee may also be appropriate for another. Be aware of a potential pitfalls, because sometimes we are providing them a feedback on the basis of their SWOT analysis. We are making them aware about what are their strengths they have, what are the opportunity according to their domain area, specialization, or their liking and hobby and whatnot, according to their competency. Whereas we need to share the feedback on the basis of these are your lacuna, these are your weaknesses, and we need to work on those weakness or the area to grow in that professional manner. So it is very, very important to show them their overall feedback, convey them in a proper manner without insulting them or without like demotivating them. So for that, we need to aware about the potential pitfalls. Over dependency of a mentee exploitation of a mentor's influence. So we need to avoid that. Be sensitive to be a difference between developing a mentee and using a mentee. So how to these are the certain cases, actually cases in the higher education institute, how the mentor, they are what we can say, the exploiting their mentee by getting work done by their mentee. Maybe they're writing certain research paper, they are writing certain notes, and they are getting work done by their mentee. So we need to avoid certain practices, actual practices which happen. It is reported and analyzed during the various what we can say, the harassment student or mentor, their mentee, they are reporting such type of incidents happens with their during this mentorship program. Be aware of the dynamics of the relationship. Developmental needs may change. So we need to identify what are the requirement, future requirement, and in that proportion, this is the exact role of a mentor to guide according to the requirement, futuristic requirement, and their which matching to their personality of a mentee. Next slide, please. Additional roles and the characteristics of a mentors are role model, energizer, envisioner, investor. We are investing time, not in form of money, but we are investing time for the development of our mentee. Supporter, standard coder, teacher and coach, feedback giver, eye opener. Where they are making a mistake, we need to make them aware that you are doing such a mistake. So and that is again in a very proper way. We can't insult them, we can't tease them. Door opener, we must be ready enough to listen them, to guide them. So that time we need to keep our door open. Ideas bouncer, problem solver, career counselor, and the challengers. So whenever that mentee, they're approaching to you, you need to show them a challenges, you need to give them challenges, you need to solve their issues, you need to counsel them, you need to give them a feedback, overall feedback for their overall development, professional development, holistic development toward their career, professional career. Next slide, please. Now, mentor-mentee. For a mentee, setting realistic goal. No, realistic goal means approachable goal. We can easily approach. We can achieve that goal. Many times, the people or the mentee, they are making or formulating a goal for themselves, and there are lots of constraints. They can imagine, they can just dream about it, but sometimes your external or the certain internal situation in such a way that you can't achieve that. So whenever you are setting your goal, you try to find out whether these goals are achievable or not. Time commitment, you need to frame certain time, in a due date or a time frame, to what are the time span you want to achieve this, but you need to get a duration. Like similarly, this particular mentorship, one of the object of mentorship program, when the student, they are taking admission in their first year of their higher degree in a higher education institute. So they have a few professional degrees. Their it is tenure is like a 2 years, 2 academic year or 3 academic year. So this is one of the most important duty of a mentor to help them in a such a way that they are getting their degree within the stipulated 2 years academic years only. So without their backlog, without the failure in their semester or in any specific subjects. So this is a one way where we are trying to identify their maybe weaknesses in specific subject or a specific skill or specific area, professional area. Clarifying your roles and the responsibility, feedback and communication, be efficient and respect boundaries. It is very, very important. Whereas for a mentor, establish effective working relationship, create an environment for a learning. We're talking about the working relationship, but sometimes your mentor and mentee relationship goes beyond that limit. And for a few mentor and mentee, sometimes it happens they are continuing with this relationship for their future life also. So there are many cases that they are considered their mentor formally given by the institute, and they are respecting this relationship in a such a way that when they join organization, whenever they are taking a higher a good position in the corporate or any other professional level, still they are respecting their this first mentor in their professional degree courses. Create an environment for a learning. There we need to, I always stress on, like, there's supposed to be ecosystem. You need to develop such an environment so that exchange of an idea, people will come freely with your all their problem. You must give them the solution. So this particular environment, that is a duty of that organization to provide the learning environment with the various type of a supportive system, context of practices and the leadership. So this is a requirement for a mentor and for a mentee. So next slide, please. Implementation strategy. So these are a last part where I'm given some module how to actually implement the strategies for the mentorship program for empowering the teachers in the broad spectrum of areas and developing their holistic personalities. Two-phase mentoring strategy, especially for the teachers who are a new entrant in the higher education system, have been planned. This is like various models can be developed. So this is one example which I have discussing with you. Module 1, getting started, like the icebreaker, organizational items, workshop objectives. So we need to, module wise, we can plan this mentorship program in higher education institute. Module 2 will define the coaching and the mentoring. What is coaching? What is mentoring? We need to justify with exactly what mean by coaching and what is mentoring. Just to give a detail on the coaching is directly related to a subject or that particular theory aspects, whereas mentoring is overall other than extracurricular, co-curricular, extension activity, fieldwork, which is supportive activity toward to learn that professional degree. Module 3, getting setting goals, identifying appropriate goal area. So we need to plan, we need to trace certain goal which can be achievable. Module 4 can be understanding the reality, getting a picture of where you are. We need to just identify the, what we can say, normal. We are analyzing the personality as a mentee and mentor. Like what am I, what skills I'm having, what are my SWOT analysis. So you need to analyze yourself. Identifying obstacle, that is challenges in the professional level, at outside the or in labor market or in the future or at various level, IT infrastructure level or maybe economic level or maybe a certain, what we can say, the different type of obstacles are there, behavior level obstacles. So you need to ready with these are the certain obstacles you may come across whenever you are implementing this mentorship program. Exploring the past. It is very, very important that you need to explore the past. Maybe sometime you are getting certain solution if you are having the past or the history. That is very, very important for you. So we need to trace the history as well. Module 5, developing options, identifying a path, choosing your final approaches and structuring a plan. So here we are focusing on, can we be ready with the various plan? Can we frame the strategy and then finalize any one out of that? So we need to prioritize. So I always suggest the student that whenever you are framing your goal of your life, You have your various means your one focus area, whereas you can plan the different way to reach that particular goal. Okay, so it is very very essential. You need to help the party, both the party, mentor and mentee. They need to finalize the path. And we have in engineering, that is a CPM, critical path method approach. So this type of statistical or mathematical tools, very scientific tools, can be used, means in generalized sense, how we can, there are various paths to achieve success, but you need to identify what exactly path I can select so that I can reach to my destination. So choosing your final approach is very very essential. And structuring a plan means actually you are implementing a plan. Module 6 focus on wrapping it all up, creating the final plan, identifying the first step, and getting motivated. So this is module 6. Next slide, please. 7. What is 7? The importance of trust. What is trust? Trust and coaching, building trust. So this is very, very important. Why we have categorized all into the model? Why? Because that gives us an idea, and whenever you want to implement a mentorship program, it will be easy for us if we are going through the model wise. Module 8 will focus on providing a feedback. Now, feedback sandwiches. Now, why this is a sandwiches? Because this is on 360-degree feedback. We need to develop the system where we are providing them a feedback from every aspects, from their professional aspects, from their personal behavior aspect, from their extracurricular aspects. So if it is possible for a mentor to provide a feedback in that way, it will be easy for a mentee to develop from overall angle, providing a constructive criticism. Now, I earlier said that without constructive criticism means without hurting them, without insulting the mentee, we need to give a proper feedback to a mentee. Sometimes if the mentor, they are insulting in front of many other people, maybe that person will say, no, I don't want to continue with this mentor. So it is not an insult of that mentee, but it is an insult of mentor because he is rejecting you as a mentor. So whenever you want to give or to show their lacuna, that is a very inconstructive way. Encouraging a growth and development. You need to keep a track of, always motivate your mentor. Module 9 will focus on overcoming a roadblock. So maybe whenever you come across this mentorship program as a mentor or a mentee, there is a possibility that there is a common obstacle, reevaluating a goal, focusing on a progress. So you need to, that's why I said, you must be ready with the plan B. It will help you to come across certain roadblocks. Module 10 will focus on reaching the end. How to know when you have achieved the success. Transitioning the coaching, wrapping it all. Module 11 will suggest on how mentoring differs from a coaching. The basic difference is blending the two models, adapting to the grow model for a mentoring, focusing on the relationship. So in module 11, we need to identify what exactly mean by mentoring program. On the basis of that, we need to give the continuous grow model for the mentorship program. Module 12 will be a wrapping up, that is the end, towards the end, because a tenure of an actual professional course is a 2 to 3 years, or maybe like, and we need to wrap the relationship or mentorship program within the stipulated time period. So words from the wise, lessons learned, completion of action plans and evaluation. So it is very, very essential that you have planned in the beginning of a mentorship program, and you are having continuous analysis of your feedback, or maybe you are mapping the what we can say overall the mentorship program. So at the end of this mentorship program of professional 2 years degree or 3 years degree, you need to provide the what exactly the feedback, and on the basis of that completion of action plan, you are evaluating the mentorship. Next slide, please. So this is what a quick summary, so that we can implement this mentorship program at our respective institute level as individually and professionally. If you are willing to implement this program successfully at your respective institute. Learning does not only take place inside a classroom. That is my personal feeling. That's why we have to give them a platform so that they can learn through the various activity. Even UGC, they have given us a guideline that how you can make your session or any class very, very interactive. Developing a relationship with the students contribute to their growth. Now, here growth means, it doesn't mean that only career oriented or professional growth. Somewhere the people who are very shy, they are not able to present their particular presentation. You need to help them. Few people, they are always in a very stressful mood. So we need to help them how to balance their particular stress or how to release their stress. Many people, they are very health issues, mental health, physical health. So we need to provide them certain feedback how to they come across on all certain personal level issues. Mentors also grow and learn while mentoring, by solving their issue whenever, because this is, I always say that this is a teaching and learning process, where here not only the mentee they are learning, teachers or the mentor, they are also developing their skills while they are teaching and developing, means providing the all the, what we can say, the benefit to their mentor. When they are supporting their mentee, they are also developing, they are also learning. And this is very, very important for a mentor, being a mentor also. Mentors influence mentees. So that's why sometimes many mentees, they feel my mentor is my role model. From their day-to-day activity, only just to observe their mentor, many mentee, they are wanting or they are trying to implement those uh, their professional practice or their personal behavioral skills in their life. When the mentor role is taken seriously, it brings pride to the profession. So somewhere you are not paid for that, because you are actually working as a professor, assistant professor, associate professor, director, or whatnot. So this is one we can say the pride to mentor your mentee. Teachers as a mentor must invest in student. Now, investment doesn't mean in the money, not in a sort of a share market you are expecting return. Here, when you are investing your time, you are investing your talent, you are investing your experience or expertise for a student development. In feedback, you are getting a return, ROI, return on investment, means the holistic development of your students, their professional and their personality development, which we are expecting from our professional students. So that is actually a aim of mentorship program, and that is really, really important for any organization. Next slide, please. So after the program ends, many relationships come to be natural in when the mentee learns enough to be independent from a specific mentors. So new mentoring relationship with others may be more beneficial than the continuing or exhausted relationship. So there are your choice. Few students, they can continue with their professional or the informal way given mentor, or few people, they can break that mentorship program at the end of this 2 years degree course. Whereas program end may not mean the end of relationship. Informal mentoring can continue if both parties agree. So there are many cases or many examples that many students, though they are settled in their personal life, professional life, they still consider their professor or their mentor as a mentor for their overall lifetime. Pilot program will assess how mentoring meet the needs of both mentees and mentors. So we need to plan certain program, very systematic program. We can frame certain strategy to make this mentorship program successful in higher education institute. Next slide, please. So I think I did a justice with the topic. If any participant have any issues, they can contact me, they can ask, they can raise the questions, and can share a feedback to me directly or to the organizer team. Thanks a lot for